Well, a week before Toronto entered stage 2 of the reopening, Vaughan was among the communities that began easing restrictions. So joining us now with more on the reopening is Vaughan Mayor Maurizio Bevilacqua. I almost had it, Mayor. How are you?
You have it. You have it. That's perfect. It's Italian Heritage Month, so that was good.
Just rub it in.
I want to, first of all, really thank the citizens of Vaughan. You know, like they've been disciplined, they've been focused, and been following the rules and regulations. And that is the reason why we were in stage 2 before the city of Toronto. But, you know, COVID-19, I don't see really any borders or boundaries. We're in this together. The GTHA is in it together, and the country's in it together. And it's very important that we learn from each other's experiences. And I must tell you that there's a lot of joy here in the city of Vaughan, but it's tempered by that focused and disciplined commitment that we've had throughout the COVID-19 crisis. The citizens continue to really manifest the very best of what citizenship is truly all about. That means they care for each other, they're following the rules, they're doing an exemplary job at really being the very best that they can be.
Yeah. And I mean, Vaughan has really had a head start on Toronto and some other, different regions in Ontario. How has it been? Are people following these safety protocols?
They are. Obviously people, the sun is out there. They have the sense of freedom. It's just a natural reaction for people who live in democratic states like Canada. Freedom is very much part of who we are as individuals, and we want to get out there and experience the environment, get together with friends and family. It's been a long haul over, almost since we started this when we were monitoring COVID-19. It's almost been 5 months, really. And so there's been a lot of pressure on people, and I think it's great for mental health as well to get out, but you just have to be smart about it. Use common sense, be intelligent. I mean, we have a lot of talent between our ears in this country. We're very fortunate to live in a country like Canada. And if I may, we're going to have a virtual Canada Day on July 1st between 5 and 8 p.m. with Bare Naked Ladies being the headline. And I do want to say, Kelly, that it's really a day that we really ought to pause and be so grateful that we live in a country like Canada. Look at our COVID-19 numbers compared to many other countries. We're doing the very best we can at the government level, but also as individual Canadians expressing really that love for a country that has given people from all over the world an opportunity to live in a country where people are well taken care of. And COVID-19, although after COVID-19 there will be reports that a lot of things went wrong, I will tell you, when I look at what's going on in the United States, in some states where they're registering 4,000 new cases every day, I must say that I'm very proud to be Canadian.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to second that too. But you're right, though, when you say that, the reopening and the joy of that has been tempered with the case numbers. And finally, we're seeing a downward trend in Toronto. Have you seen any change in your case numbers since you reopened?
Yes, we're definitely flattening the curve. We're doing very well. But, as more and more people gather together, obviously the chances for transmission increase. It's just logical. And so we have to be very, very careful. The city of Vaughan represents 58% of all manufacturing jobs in York region. So we've gone through COVID-19. As you know, manufacturing was still open, as well as the construction industry. Kelly, it's really interesting when you compare the growth in building permits in the city of Vaughan. When you compare from the first quarter of 2017, 2018, 2019, we've actually gone up 70% this quarter, which means there's a lot of confidence in our economy. There's a lot of confidence in the local government here. And there's a lot of confidence in people believing that the city of Vaughan is a city on the move, a city on the rise. And you can tell by the type of investments that people are making. Every morning when I get up, I look outside my window and I see this $1.8 billion first smart technology hospital in Canada being built that is going to employ 1,800 employees with high-paying jobs. These are all things that, as you reflect upon how fortunate we are to live in a country like ours, it really brings a lot of hope and optimism in my heart to know that while we're going through COVID-19, while there are dark clouds, I see a light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, let's talk about that light, too, because after you just talked about Vaughan that way, I think a lot of people want the key to your city, but only one special person will be presented with it, right?
Yes, Jean Augustine. As you may know, I was a member of parliament for 22 years prior to becoming mayor 10 years ago. And I love Jean Augustine. She represents the very best of what Canadian citizenship is truly all about. She fought for causes that are very important, multiculturalism. Black Heritage Month was her idea. I remember supporting it. She was my seatmate. It's going to be a real thrill to present the key to Jean Augustine, a woman that is admired across the country, a woman who was a strong voice internationally as well, first Fairness Commissioner of the province of Ontario. And I can tell you, I learned a lot from her. We traveled together during Social Security Review, where we reviewed all the social programs in Canada. We traveled the country extensively. We learned about the human condition. We learned how we needed to improve our programs. And, you know, when you look back, this happened almost 15, 20 years ago. When you look back, you learn that the seeds of today's social programs were planted then. And so our response to COVID-19 has roots that go back 10, 20 years. And I will be forever grateful for her friendship and for her love of country and for fighting those issues, that are really important. We stood together in cabinet and in caucus to make sure that everyone was included in our society, that we have an inclusive society, regardless of your race, gender, sexual orientation, faith, that color of your skin, that we're in this together, that this great country of ours is great because we have a great ability to be compassionate, caring individuals who really manifest the very best of what humanity has to offer. This country has great potential because we are rooted in open optimism, and our inner core is all about love, compassion, and understanding for one another.
So true, and she is so deserving of that honor. Mayor Bevilacqua, thank you for your time and your patience with me today. We appreciate it. We'll chat again soon.
Thank you so much. A pleasure always.
Well, an anti-racism rally is underway right now in the Swansea neighborhood in the West